just to get a sense of what lies ahead and what does this essentially mean when Israel says that this is going to be a long and a difficult war. Joining us on this special broadcast is the spokesperson of Israel Prime Minister's office, Tal Heinrich. Ms. Heinrich, thank you very much for joining us on Republic TV. Over the last few weeks, we've been exposing the monstrosity of the Hamas, the barbarity that the world has essentially witnessed. A lot has passed since then. Questions essentially being asked, is there a delay on the part of the Israeli Defense Forces with regards to the full-scale invasion of Gaza? Will that take place, or as you've been pointing out, stage 1 has been completed, stage 2 and stage 3 are still pending?
Well, it depends on how you look at the stages. I wouldn't say that delay is the correct word for it. Stage 1 was obviously and still is the securing of Israeli territory. As you know, the Hamas terrorists are trying to infiltrate in different ways into Israeli territory and challenge us. So stage 1, I would say, is to secure the Israeli territory. Then stage 1.5 or 2 is our actions in Gaza en route to bring to the dismantlement or surrender of the Hamas regime. So we said that we will further act in Gaza, and that is what we're doing just now.
Ms. Heinrich, we've already heard the Prime Minister speaking about the fact that there is a growing pressure on Israel. Several quarters indicating that perhaps Israel should move in for some sort of a ceasefire. Do you believe that it could happen, or that is completely out of question? And how exactly would you then convince the world right now that this is perhaps the most appropriate response to what we saw on 7th of October?
You see, a ceasefire right now is not negotiable. It's not something that we even consider, because we defined the goal of this operation in Gaza as to bring to the dismantlement of Hamas. We have decided as a nation that we can no longer live next to this murderous terror enclave that keeps firing missiles at us. Did you know that over 8,000 rockets have been fired at Israeli territory in 24 days? And that is after they massacred us and butchered us and burned people and turned them into ashes and raped women and so on October 7th. We can no longer live next to this monster called Hamas. And this is the reason why we're acting in Gaza right now. So we will finish the operation. It's a war, again, that we didn't start and we didn't want. We were dragged into it by Hamas. Once our military and government leadership will decide that the goal has been accomplished. This is why we are acting right now in Gaza.
Ms. Heinrich, over the last few days, we've spoken to several survivors, victims, and one growing concern has certainly been about the current situation inside Gaza in terms of the hostages. Never before have we seen this kind of a hostage crisis. Perhaps this is a first for even Israel, with over 200 people in captivity of Hamas. There have been some reports that have been doing the rounds with regards to the fact that there have been negotiators that have been brought into the picture. What's the current situation like? Because that remains the biggest bone of contention.
You're correct. It is a very complex issue. I can tell you that here in Israel, we have about 240 families of these hostages who didn't sleep one night for 24 days. They have no more tears to cry out. And somehow they are the ones who are giving us the most strength as a nation to carry out our moral duty and to fight Hamas terrorists and bring to their defeat. And of course, the hostage situation is a real complexity for this operation. But we have defined 2 goals for our conduct in Gaza right now. First is to bring to the destruction of Hamas regime as a government body and as a military wing in Gaza. And the second one, obviously, and they go hand in hand, is that we want to see the hostages back in Israel. And we are calling on Hamas to release them unconditionally and immediately, And we are hoping to see more international pressure being exerted on Hamas, because that is the only reason why they have released 4 hostages so far, if you remember, because of the mounting international pressure. So we want to see the world rallies behind Israel and amplifying our demands. We also want to see the Red Cross insisting on paying them a visit to examine their status and get access to them.